What is up, winning team? Hello guys and welcome. We are back in our Saul and David series. Okay, I told you we were going to circle back, and we're circling back, and now we're back like we never left. And if you don't know what this is all about, we've basically been doing a whole series about Saul versus David. You know, Saul being the prideful king, driven by the fear of man, the approval of the jury of the sheeple, who was then replaced by the Lord by David, who the Lord said was a man after his own heart, a humble shepherd. And if you want to know all about this, guys, the playlist is all going to be in the description. You guys already know how this stuff works. We are now continuing. We are in 1 Samuel 18. So flick over to 1 Samuel 18 to join along. We're going to be starting to talk about this whole battle between Saul and David, because at this point where we are now, basically, Saul has disappointed the Lord more than once. The Lord has been like, you're done, it's over with you. I need to find a king who I can rely upon, a king who leads the people and doesn't let the people lead him. And now he chooses David, son of Jesse. And David is yet to actually become king, but David is in the king's quarters and in the king's kingdom, because now Saul is being tormented by this demon. He needs somebody to like play the lyre, you know, to help stop the torment of this demon that the Lord allowed to torment Saul. And at this point, David has defeated Goliath, which is what we saw in chapter 17. David has defeated Goliath. David has won the favor of Saul's son Jonathan, who now this says their souls are knit together. They're best friends now. Jonathan, who again saved also Saul's people, his father's people, because his father was acting crazy and was getting scared, hiding away in caves. And then Jonathan was like, ain't no way, and went out and defeated the enemies. A whole bunch of things took place. And now we are going on to the developments between David and Saul, because Saul actually is jealous. That is the topic. That is the theme of today, is jealousy. Okay. And there's good reason for this. And this actually links in with this whole Jezebel story arc. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Please do check out the other videos in the description box below. There'll be the playlist. Let's get into it. We're in 1 Samuel 18. And we're going to start at verse, we'll just start through the whole thing just to give us a quick little recap. Also, sorry if my voice sounds a bit strained. I'm a little bit under the weather, okay? But it's been going on for a while now. I feel like it's all to do with the singing stuff. Anyway, so we're 1 Samuel 18. As soon as he finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul, right? They formed a soul tie. And Saul took him that day and would not let him return to his father's house. Just to mention that soul ties don't have to be formed only sexually, because this is another one of those things. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, Christians not knowing what they're talking about. But it's another one of them where like Christians just think soul ties only happen because of sex. Soul ties happen for a number of reasons. Being around somebody for a long time, your adoration to somebody and their adoration to you, being born in the same family or being related. There's a whole bunch of things that create soul ties. So just to say. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David, and his armor, and even his sword, and his bow, and his belt. And David went out and was successful wherever Saul sent him, so that Saul sent him over the men of war. And this was good in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. So David was being sent out basically to war because obviously he's taken down Goliath. He is now literally the warrior champion of all time, the real MVP, you know what I mean, that everybody trusts in. So now, you know, Saul, and again, I find this quite fascinating when it comes to jealous people, because this is where we're going. It's about to literally go on to the jealousy element in a second. A lot of jealous people are jealous of you. And this is again where how this works alongside Jezebel. They don't really want to see you go past a certain point. Like, they want to see you succeed, but only to a certain degree, and to the degree where you're still under their finger. So, like, I think Saul was happy with the arrangement where I'm the king who found David. He's my great warrior, but it's about Saul. It's about him. And for him, it's about himself. So, hold on a minute, you guys. I'm going to make some soup. So the whole thing is like, Saul is just loving this whole idea of, he's got this David who's like below him, that he's like kind of in control of, if you will. But now, if David now rises to threaten the throne, because even if you remember in the previous chapters, the reason why Samuel didn't even want to go and tell Saul is he was afraid of what Saul would do. It's like he knew that Saul would react badly to hearing that. Sir, the Lord is firing you as king, basically, and he's replacing you. This is another lesson in how vicious, and this is why it's important, why I wanted to do this series, and why just so many reasons why this felt right to do today. When you're dealing with jealous people or people in positions that you might replace, whatever, they will be threatened. Their egos are very fragile. Let's put it like that. They're very fragile people. And a lot of times they know what you might not know. This is something I've learned. So Saul probably can realize and see that David is the king that he never was. This is how jealousy actually works a lot of the time. People, it's always looking at somebody else and like kind of seeing or coveting or feeling entitled to what they have, or like something to do with that. It's a bit weird. It's hard for me to think about because I've never been a jealous person. And I've said this to you guys, any real winner, your only competition is only ever yourself. Because you're the only person you can control. The only competition only ever is yourself. You're only ever competing with you. If you see yourself that way, trust me, it makes life better. Because if you're looking at somebody else, you don't know the details of their life. You don't know what God is doing behind the scenes with them. You don't know what their upbringing was or what their current circumstances are. You don't know anything. So being jealous of somebody that you don't know is just literally genuinely one of the dumbest things you can ever do. That's why I don't believe in jealousy. The best thing you can do is focus on yourself. So here we're going to see, rather than Saul, similar to Cain, similar to the Pharisees, similar to lots of different situations in the Bible and also in the world, rather than just accepting that he's a dum-dum and he should, regroup. I told you guys, part of being a winner is the ability to regroup. That's not what he does. He decides to instead, and again, like I said before, winners take accountability, losers are accusers. I don't even know how I do it. So verse 6. As they were coming home, when David returned from striking down the Philistine, the women came out of all the cities of Israel singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tambourines, with songs of joy, with musical instruments, and the women sang to one another as they celebrated, Saul has struck down his thousands and David his 10,000s. And Saul was very angry, and this saying displeased him. He said, they have ascribed to David 10,000, and to me they have ascribed thousands, and what more can he have but the kingdom? And Saul kept an eye on David from that day on. So let's not forget that Saul had said, whoever can take down Goliath can have such a certain amount of his kingdom and also his daughter. Mistake, big mistake on Saul's part, by the way, because I don't know, if I was Saul, he's just set himself up in so many ways to make himself look like the dum-dum to all of the people around, right? His own son don't respect him because he's always running away and scared. This is the difference between Saul and David, is David had faith. That's the only difference. It wasn't anything other than faith. This is what I tell you guys all the time. The thing is, all that God is requiring of us is our faith. For us to have faith and to trust in him and to keep trusting. That's all that he's asking of us. So Saul I don't think Saul had faith, because every time there was a battle, he's running away scared. Jonathan, before even David, went out and he was like, the Lord my God will deliver my enemies into my hands. David, the Lord my God today will deliver the head of the Philistine, of Goliath, into my hand. It's faith. It's not that they thought that they had everything together. And this is, again, jealous people be like, where do you get all the audacity to think you can do that? All right, I've experienced that a lot in my life. Where do you get all the audacity to think you can do that? It's like, no, my friend. Actually, I've known the Lord since I was 7 years old. I've known the Lord basically my entire life. And I know that if it's his will, he shall do it. If it's his will, he shall do it. Like Joseph says, I believe it's Joseph interpreting the dreams. He's like, hey, I can't promise anything myself because it's not because of me. But if the Lord decides to share the interpretation of your dream, I shall share it. These are important things to understand, you guys, because jealous people are the most dangerous people to be around, because the spirit of jealousy and the spirit of death like to work together. Jealous people like to kill people they are jealous of, because they somehow think, I don't know, it's just the strongest form of delusion. I don't even get it. Like, when I tell you guys, I don't understand jealousy at all, because like you can't do anything. Like, even in life, the reason why I don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, so and so lucky to have been born into this, or to have this, or so. It is what it is. I have the cards I have dealt. We all have them. What are we going to do? We're going to sit there crying in our little corners, being sorry for ourselves, like Saul running off into the cave, or we're going to go and stand and have faith and believe in the God who says anything and everything. He can do anything. The Bible says that God will do exceedingly abundantly above anything you can ask or think. Exceedingly and abundantly above anything you can ask or think. So yeah. So Saul here, his little fragile little ego is getting poked out because he's got his sons running off, forming soul ties with David. Like, finally, there's a man in the room. Finally, there's a bit of testosterone in the air. Right, his daughter's already about to marry David anyways, which we're going to come to in a minute. The ladies are singing that Saul killed 1,000, David killed 10,000. I know that must have hurt. Like, imagine actually being there. And that must have hurt. But this is Saul's own doing. This is the important thing to understand. If you're a jealous person, or if you're dealing with jealous people, it's their own doing. Their life is their own doing. We all have the same 24 hours. That's why I said the funny thing to me about people who've ever worked against me is that we both have one thing in common. We're both thinking about me. I'm thinking about myself and how to develop myself and how to improve myself. You're thinking about me when you could have been thinking about yourself. But then somehow you're going to act as if what I have, I'm lucky to have it, when you had the same 24 hours, just that you wasted it being a hater and a naysayer. You know what I mean? Instead of focusing on yourself and developing yourself. That's your own choice. Similar to how Saul, again, was all here loving being king, loving probably being worshipped and idolized by the jury of the sheeple, right? While David was with the sheep. David was humbly with the sheep, wasn't even the first one chosen, was there with the Lord doing the job that he had to do in his humility. So the next day, so now Saul's keeping an eye on him. Why keeping an eye on him? What's the point? He's doing what he needed to do, isn't he? He's supposed to be a soldier in your army. He's doing his job. You want somebody that's reliable, that can go and take down the people. The only reason you're keeping your eye on him, he hasn't done anything wrong, is because now you're threatened. Your fragile little ego. Exactly. Anywho, the next day, a harmful spirit from God rushed upon Saul, and he raved with his house while David was playing the lyre, as he did day by day. Saul had his spear in his hand, and Saul hurled the spear, for he thought, I will pin David to the wall. But David evaded him twice. So the funny thing about this, guys, this is why I believe truly that God is the only one who brings true freedom. Now that Saul is all up in his feelings, right? He's all up in his feelings, because anger is an emotion, by the way, guys. Anger is an emotion, right? Now that Saul's all up in his feelings, yeah, because he's now feeling jealous and whatnot and what have you, now he can't help himself. He wants to kill David. This is the delusion that jealous people find themselves in. And it's, again, why it's so funny with the Jezebel story arc, and why she thinks it's funny and I think it's funny when people are swayed by certain other people, because it's like, you doing what you're doing, it's only you look stupid, like, at the end of the day, and you are only truly a loser. Like, that's why I think about people. Even now I'm thinking back, all these people lying on my name all these years. You're actually a loser. You're actually pathetic. You could have been doing anything with your day at all, and this is what you chose to do. Like, and the reason why I say it's crazy is because you can see here, now he's overcome. He's overcome by his feelings. He's overcome by these, like, are the demons here? Yeah, the demons are here. Well, the demons are here in chapter 8. That's crazy work of Genesis. So the demons been long here. So, wow, there must have been so many demons when Jesus arrived. No wonder that's one of the first things he was doing. And again, isn't that interesting that the body of Christ isn't talking about that much? That seems like a crazy thing, like some special thing. Anyway. So he's now being overcome. He's being overcome by this, like, this feeling, because that's what happens. Like what God said to Cain. Sin is knocking at your door. If you do not do well, it's what is it? Let's actually read what it says. We got the Bible right here. We're in the Bible already. And it's only Genesis chapter 4. So I mean, by Genesis 4, we already had brothers killing brothers. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is us as humans. First, so Genesis 4 verse 7. If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at your door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. You must resist. Saul already now is in that place where he's now starting to lose it, right? He's now completely becoming overcome by what's going on inside of him. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him, but had departed from Saul. So Saul removed him from his presence and made him a commander of 1,000, and he went out and came in before the people. And David had success in his undertakings in his undertakings, for the Lord was with him. And when Saul saw that he had great success, he stood in fearful awe of him. But all of Israel and Judah loved David, for he went out and came in before them. That is just beautiful. What a beautiful leadership there as well. Notice the people loved him because they're seeing somebody that goes before, as leaders are supposed to do, not go and quake in the corner. Not need everybody to coddle your little feelings, right? Go before the people and be the king that you're supposed to be. And go and show people that they have a king. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. Like, everything that's happening to Saul is his own fault. Everything that's happening to Saul is his own fault. And yet he, rather than, again, doing the work, nothing in all of this, there hasn't been accountability from him. It's always just been, oh, Samuel, I know I did wrong and I know the Lord is punishing me and that's okay, but can you just like acknowledge me in front of the elders, in front of the people so that I can still have my ego stroked? Like, Saul is, honestly, he's kind of a little bit insufferable character now the more I'm thinking about him at this point. But David did what he did. And so what we're going to see next, I'm going to stop this video here because I had to reintroduce us back into the flow of it all. What we're going to see next is David's going to marry Saul's daughter, which again, I think is just, L for Saul. L for Saul. Especially because now she's going to go from having experienced being his daughter in his house and seeing how he operates to now being the wife of David. Now, that doesn't necessarily all go well, but you'll have to see about that in the upcoming videos, guys. We are back in the books of First Saul and David versus Saul. So I hope you're enjoying this. Come back. We're going to be continuing, as I said we would. And I'm actually quite happy to be here. And I'm actually quite glad that I took the break because this feels right now. And again, I just go with the flow of what feels like the right thing that the Lord is telling me to do at the time that the Lord is telling me to do it. And this morning, first thing, the topic of this conversation was jealousy. And here we are. Lo and behold, I looked in my Bible and my little thingy that I left, this thing, was on this page right here. Saul, you can't see it because it's backwards, but it says Saul's jealousy of David. So stay tuned, you guys. We're back in it. I'm so excited. And like I said, everything will be linked in the description. There's a whole playlist. We've been reading through this whole story arc of Saul becoming king. And now we're going on to David. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get through to David actually being king, but I also can believe it. Anyways, you guys, if life's a game was played to win, God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.